Okay, so now we're going to look at simple interest. Now, most of the time when we get a loan, when we get a loan at a bank, or we use a savings account, it's compound interest, and we'll talk about that later on. But right now we're going to talk about simple interest. And some loans are simple interest loans. So we have two formulas that we have to know for simple interest. The first one is our interest formula. The interest that we will pay on something if we have a simple interest loan is equal to P, the amount that we borrow or the amount we invest, times the interest rate, which is always listed as a decimal, times the time, and our time is always in years. And then the future value, if we want to figure out how much in total we're going to end up paying for this loan, or how much we're going to get if we're making an investment or a savings account of some kind, then we'll use this formula, which is future value is equal to the principal, which is what we borrowed or what we've invested, times 1 plus our interest rate R as a decimal times our time in years. So let's use both of these formulas in two examples. You take a simple interest loan for $500 at 30% interest for 2 years. How much will you have to pay in total for the loan? So we want to know the future value of the loan. How much are we going to end up paying for this $500 that we borrowed? All right, so we want to know F. So that's still our variable. Our P is the $500 that we borrow. We'll have 1 plus our interest rate. 30% as a decimal is 0.30, and our time is 2 years. So now this is just a matter of putting this into our calculator and working it out. So if you've got one of the simple calculators, you can take this a step at a time. Do the inside of your parentheses first. So we have to do the multiplication, which is going to give us 1 plus 0.60. Finish the parentheses, that's 1.6. And then let our calculator do the 500 times 1.6. And we will end up getting $800 that we end up paying for that loan. Quite a bit for $500 borrowed. Okay, so let's go to our second one. You take a simple interest loan for, and that should be a dollar sign. Let me fix that real quick. For $200 at 12% interest for 18 months. How much interest will you pay? Now let's notice this one's asking for interest. All right, so we want to use the interest formula I equals PRT because we just want the interest. We don't want the future value. All right, so let me pull that down here. I equals PRT, and we're going to plug in. All right, so we don't know the interest, so that stays as our variable, but our P is the amount that we are borrowing. That's $200. Our interest rate is 0.12. Remember, as a decimal. And here's where you want to be careful. 18 months. We always want our time as years. So 18 divided by 12 months in the year is going to give us the time as years. Or you can put 18 over 12 into your calculator and get 1.5 years. All right? But that's really the calculation that we're making right there is 18 divided by the 12 months of the year. So anytime our time is listed as months, take it and divide it by 12 in order to get it listed as years. So I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to go ahead and put 18.12 into my calculator, which is really 1.5 when I do that in my calculator. Now we can do the whole thing, 200 times 0.12 times 1.5, all in our calculator. Even the simple calculator, you can do this all at once. And this ends up being $36 in interest. Now, if this went on to ask us how much in total we're going to pay, we could not even using the formula just go, okay, I'm paying $200 for the loan plus $36 interest. It's $236 in total that I will pay for this loan.